like having AI in your back pocket. Just text me, call.
That's how his podcast is starting.
Why don't we get into it?
Record you. Well, here we go.
Here we go. All right, episode 2, Precision Rifle Series, The Show. Thank you all for tuning in last time. We had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of folks at Gravestone come up and talk about it. They really appreciated it, listened to it on their drive down there, etc. I had fun with it. Hopefully you guys did as well.
It was a pretty good time. Can't complain too much. Want a couple more ice cream?
Last time I think I had a migraine, and this week I'm dealing with the shot snot, so I think I've taken enough Tylenol to dry out a horse, but we're here. So
Excellent. We'll see. We look forward to doing predictions and talking about all the things and talking about how Clay's right all the time. So this will be good. Live broadcasting. So we had an opportunity to do that on Impact Scoring for everybody that wasn't at the match, and you two were not at Gravestone. Did you guys have an opportunity to tune in? And any thoughts on that with our first time? Obviously, we got a lot to go, but you guys have opinions?
Ken, we kind of talked at SHOT Show. We kind of both thought it'd be really cool if you could almost have two people broadcasting. And then also at the same time being able to be like, as they're pre-squat or staging, kind of have a profile on these guys and have something to say about their successes or their strong suits, or just talk about them personally, and then still have someone kind of, you pretty much the whole match where like, oh yeah, he missed that one left. Hopefully he sees it and corrects, and oh yeah, he corrected, or nope, he didn't see it, or whatever. So, I heard that about 1,000 times that weekend. But yeah, just something else to maybe spruce it up would be, that shooter profile in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to see a whole lot. I was doing some stuff with my brother. But if I was going to nitpick on something, having some closer targets, because for somebody that's not used to watching it, the flight time would be like, okay, well, it's done, it's over with, because the sound doesn't sync up with when the gun's going off, right? So, it's really easy if you don't know what's going on to look away and not pay attention, and then boom, it's already happened, So maybe something, a little bit closer next time around, but, I agree with multiple people. That way you can play off each other. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Get you some Bushmen out there,
I actually talked to Bushman at SHOT, saw him for a moment, and asked, like, "Hey, would you ever be interested in doing color commentary?" And he like, "Oh, people would listen."
He's got the personality for it, for sure.
For sure. It was tough. I tried to kind of wear both hats, right? Like talk about what's happening on range, right? Or what you're seeing, and talk about that, but then also trying to like bring in some of the background about this shooter and maybe some tidbits information somebody texted me, and it's not easy. Like I think by the end of the match I was just starting to get a much better handle on it. But yeah, it's not, you guys are absolutely right. You need two people, right? You need, and somebody has to be watching the shooter and watching the targets and all that, while the other person can just be looking at their profile or digging up Facebook dirt on them or whatever it is.
For sure,
right?
I have that guy in the background. This is the first time that someone's got a 7 and 47 seconds on a 31st of this month. You got him back there.
You do. That's correct.
I think someone else mentioned like having a microphone on at the stage, so you can kind of hear what the shooters are talking about too. Like, oh, I started with 4/10 and I finished with 8/10 or something. Like how shooters talk, like that interaction too would be feel a little more personal.
Yep. Yeah, we've kind of figured that out during the day, Sunday, and one of the cameras we had out there, I was actually able to put like an ear pod in so I could listen to the camera microphone that was watching the shooters. So I had like my headset on like this, and then an earbud in one of my ears, just kind of like listening. And I'm like, oh, I just heard Dale Rhodes said he started with 7/10 and he needed the full mill, like trying to get that. But
yeah, speaking of headsets, man, I felt left out last week. I said something to Ken, and 3 days later I had these cool headphones in my doorstep. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Yep.
I think some of the fun stuff about that, not just hearing what they're doing, but like hearing like how they talk to themselves. You know, Jeff has posted some videos of him shooting entire matches and he won't dial or something. Like, oh, you idiot! You know, that's something I hear all the time when somebody's shooting. I've done it a million times too. I think that'd be really fun to hear from different people.
And that's actually a really good point. We could do that with a shooter cam and just put a wireless mic on the guy. Like, hey, you getting ready to shoot? This won't be in your way. Go ahead and talk to yourself. Or did you watch any of the All-Star game last year, Clay or Josh?
Which All-Star
Major
game?
League All-Star game. Sorry, Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
So they one of the best parts of that, they mic'd up Clayton Kershaw while he was pitching, and he had an earpiece in to the guys up in the box. And they're like, throw the slider, Clayton. And I think it was John Smoltz, like, throw the slider, Clayton. And he's like, bro, you know I don't have a slider. Like, that's not going to happen, you know? But
I love when they mic up the baseball players in the middle of the game. I think it's, super cool.
Yep. Maybe that's where we need to get to. It's a lot of good ideas. And then, thank you for folks that reached out and thank you for folks that reached out and told us like, hey, I'm listening. Audio sounds great now. Keep up the good work, et cetera. I appreciate all that. But yeah, if you guys have ideas on how to do it or what would make this interesting or miking people up, I'm sure there's a lot of folks out there that wouldn't want to be, but it would be fun to have that. Let's talk about the match itself. All right. And surprise, surprise, Clay, you got it right. You picked 1-2, and it came down right to the end. We're going to hear from Prentice here in a little bit, but about how that ended because he was right there for it all. Do you ever get sick and tired of just hearing people say, "Well, you were right, Clay"?
I mean, no, I do not. It does not hurt my feelings to hear it. Joe Thielen sent me a really good message the other day. He's about being ticked off about how often that happened, and no, it's just I don't hate it at all. But maybe I just won't pick this week. That way we're stuck with saying that I'm right. That way I can't be wrong for this
World
one.
champion.
I just retire right there.
Yep. Well, I'm going to make you pick later. Josh, did you see it going any other way?
We were leaving for SHOT Show on Sunday, and we boarded the plane like in stage 15 and our Wi-Fi wasn't working on the airplane, so I couldn't watch the match unfold. And then when we landed, Franny was in first, but like when I boarded, Geary was the only one down single digits still with like a 3-point lead. So I'm like, oh, he's probably got it in the bag, And then to land and see Francis win by 1, I'm like, all right, what'd Clay do? He had to do something. But
it looked like it was going to be Geary and then Francis, and Zane Kuhn was right in there. Dale Rhodes was right in there for a while. Gage was right there. Like, it was looking like it, but I guess
like the first 6 stages wasn't like Kate in the lead. It's like, Kate dang, she was on fire.
Yeah, and then cooled off. I don't remember who told me that, but said that literally got cold. And that's hard to shoot. All right, so open winners. As you can see on the screen, Clay picked Francis and Jeff back to back in that order. Josh, you had Caruso, finished 15th. I didn't get anything out of Caruso. I just don't think he had a great match, honestly.
Yeah.
I picked Rudisill, and then he tells me after the match that he basically threw away his first 2 stages. He had a zero shift happen, and then he forgot to put it in his Kestrel and sent 10 rounds in the first 2 stages over top of targets because he was off 2/10. So I'm like, what happened, Keith? And he's like, yeah, I should have won the match. Like, he was behind Francis, I think, by 7 or something like that. And he's like, if I could get those first 2 back. But I mean, you could play the what if game all day long.
Every single match, everybody but the guy, and usually even the guy or girl that wins can say, "Oh, I wish I had done this."
Yeah, I should have skull drug him, not beat him by 2. Yeah.
Right. Right.
If only Bushman and Morgan's guns had blown up at the finale, I'd have had a golden bullet. But the way it goes.
The way it goes.
Well, it's never good enough either. It's like won a couple one-day matches that are You know, you drop 2 or 4 or whatever it is. You're like, man, I should have cleaned that match. Like, you're not happy with first. It's like I would have been happier with a clean. You know.
And
But
even like Bushman or Gossett that have clean matches, right? I bet they even, like there was probably a few things in that match or that day that they were like, nah, I got lucky there.
yeah.
So well, let's talk about the other ones here. So we didn't pick suppressor. There were 75 suppressor shooters there. We're gonna try to do that here in this next for this next match coming up. Top tack, we all had Heckler. Josh, you picked Heckler and Steiner to tie. Steiner was second place. Chris Garcia, I think there was very few gas gun shooters, but Chris is a stud. Sportsman, we were all wrong.
Yeah, we were.
Yep, we talked about Herod, who won it. We did, and
Yeah, you did. I thought you were actually gonna pick him.
I wanted the hometown guy to win, but
Oh,
then
yeah,
when I
that's
saw
right.
Dan there, it was like, man, like, and he's been shooting a lot of hunter style matches and stuff. So like that's his weapon system, right? Like he's pretty used to that at this point. Production. Apparently, I didn't pick anybody. I went back and rewatched the episode. I'm like, how did I probably would have picked Chad, but and if I would have picked Chad, I would have had more right, but I can't take credit for it. And Josh, you picked Beckley, who was second. International, it's hard to bet against Anthony Colley, right?
Guy's a stud.
He is. Junior, Josh.
Junior.
Yeah. Guy rented the car last weekend. I went back and listened to that too.
Whatever, we were talking about it. Hannah, saw the pictures like, he's not a junior. Like, no, he is.
Yeah, and we moved the junior rules last year to move it up to 17, so you didn't have somebody that was finishing their freshman year of college still shooting junior, and he looks like a 30-year-old man. Gage Caples, he shoots exceptionally well. I think he's going to get a win this year. I mean,
I'll be fairly surprised if he doesn't get one. He's too close too often.
Mm-hmm.
It might be this weekend.
Could be this weekend. He's shooting. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll say this too. He was the second to last squad that came through the stage that we were doing commentary on. And I went out and talked to him between squads, and he's out there having a great time. Like you couldn't see any pressure on him, and I think that's. I mean, you kind of have to be. I don't want to say stone cold, but you have to. Like you can't let the pressure get to you, And he clearly was having a good time, and shot well.
He's had a few matches in the last year where he was really close, like right up to the very end, and didn't quite get it done. And I think that having the kind of finish that he did at the finale probably gives you that little confidence boost. Like, you know what? Like, I got this. So I think it's just a matter of time for him.
Mm-hmm. Lady, Kate Estes. I mean, we talked about her. She was winning the match through 6 stages. I think she was down 1 impact. She dropped 2 on this hour stage, and that may have been like her 5th stage. So then she was down 3, but still in the lead. When everybody else was bleeding points pretty good, she held it together.
Yeah, I remember keep mentioning to Megan, like, man, Kate's still winning. Like, there's 6, 7 stages in, and she's crushing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's gonna, maybe season prediction here. Top lady on the season. I would not be surprised with as well as she was shooting.
I wouldn't be surprised, but it's going to be tight. It's tough to bet against Laurel over the course of the season. But where the finale's at, didn't Kate go second place behind Chad last year?
Yeah, they were 1-2.
No, 1-3. They were 1-3.
1-3. Yeah, they were 1-2 for a while. I remember. I
think Tungate was 2, and then she was 3.
Yep. I remember watching that one unfold. I'm like, this might be the coolest finish ever if father daughter go 1-2 at a match, Pro Series match. Yep. Mil Leo, Sam Trevino. He's shooting again this weekend. I think he was a fair number of impacts up on Derek Love for this finish. And then you guys bet against my boy Dave O for top senior. Yeah, you guys went with Rhodes.
I had to go with the fellow Okie. Had to do it.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that whatsoever. And Dale's shooting us next weekend, and I think he's my pick for top senior. But man, Dave O, he's looking good right now.
Well, Rhodes is having a really good match too. I mean, throughout, I don't know when he, got passed up, but it seemed like day one he was really on top of it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a look at the hybrid scoring here. So this came up this weekend, right? Or after the match. Alan Ernst produced this chart and basically showing like what it would have been versus what it is today. Comments?
I think it looks like a much smoother curve. And I think that just realistically, scores are going to be a little lower across the board to spread people out a little bit more. So, but you could also look at that gap and say, well, last year it was a 2-minute match, and this year it was a minute 45, and so that's going to make that a little bit steeper decline as well. So you give those extra 15 seconds, who knows how much that changes, what that looks like.
It's true.
I mean, I heard from multiple people that it would have been almost a perfect match had it been 2-minute time limits.
Yeah, I felt like the scores outside of like the top, I don't know, 10 or 20, it really tanked pretty quick. Like it looked like a tough match essentially.
Mm-hmm. So shooting fast, what, when you force shooters to move fast, and obviously the top guys get it, right? Like they can shoot fast. They're probably still seeing more. Well, obviously they're seeing more than the other guys, or they're making the best guess, right? Because the assumption is shooting fast. You don't have time. You can't take the time to stop and analyze every shot, right?
Yeah, the faster you go, the more luck plays into it. Because if you don't have that time to check your wind conditions to actually spot where your shot's going, I mean, you're leaving some stuff up to chance. And at the finale, there was the big barricade where you had 12 positions in 90 seconds. You're not watching those shots. You might make sure the first one or two hit where you want to, and then you just got to go. You shrink that target, and then it really becomes a lot more about luck because that 1 or 2 mile an hour wind change, nobody's got time to look at. So, 15 seconds.
What happens when you miss a shot like that? Like thinking the finale, right? Like and you're 4 or 5 shots in, and you got
to be real honest with yourself.
Yeah.
You got to be real honest. Was that me? Did I break that on the plate? Or did I not? Was I candid into Narnia, or was I not? And if you know that you were not doing either one of those things, you got to make an adjustment. Left or right. You got to trust that your elevation didn't magically come off of whatever size IPSC that was. Maybe it was a full size. I don't know. But I mean, my very first shot on that stage, like I was in hustle mode right off the get-go, and I broke my first shot off the plate, bottom left corner. I don't know how it happened, and I go, no way. Dink, hit it. I was like, oh, got lucky on that one, and then I settled down and went for it. But you miss one in a stage like that, it can very easily turn to 2 or 3 if it doesn't happen on your first one, because if you're in the middle of it, it's more or less a 50-50.
So you miss one right in the middle of that, and then you kind of have to get. I mean, you have to take an educated guess, right? Like, okay, anything, like you have to pause for a second, right? And I guess you don't. Like you just say, hey, I'm going to rush to that next position, and
well, the next shot you better watch really well.
Yeah, you got to wait on that next shot. You have to know where that one's going so that you can be set for the rest of them. So I mean, you shrink that target some, and it's going to get real sporty in a hurry. It's not just going to be hitting it; it's going to be timing out because of the extra time you have to take. It takes a long time to miss.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. Like if you pause to watch everything, now you're leaving shots on the back end. It's just period. It's just what's going to happen.
Yeah. So, in a stage like that, I think the approach is the first one. Watch it well. If it lands where you want, now you're rolling. Then you're rolling till you miss one, and now the next shot you take slow again, like you're starting over. That's how I'd shoot it. But
and that's exactly what Clay's saying. Then it's luck, right? If the wind holds the entire time you're rolling, you got lucky.
well, you can get 10 points and 12 shots off, or you can take 10 slow shots. That's your choice.
But I mean, that's the reality, you know.
Yeah.
It,
That's the point you're making, Clay. Like,
Yeah, you
I
know,
mean,
like,
that kind of stage is kind of is silly in a way,
Yeah,
right?
I don't like shooting those stages. I don't at all.
you know,
12
it's not that
positions,
like it's not that I can't go fast if I have to, but I don't want to. I want to spend that extra time, you know, seeing where those shots are going, make sure that I make whatever change that I have to. And you know, I'm not saying that like these scores have been drastically different, but they would have a change. You know, there's only so many people that are going to get all of their shots off on every stage. You know, there's probably no stage you can create that Francis can't get all of his shots off. There's no stage you can create that Jeff isn't going to get all of his shots off. So they're probably getting a little bit of a boost, you know, over some guys, but just across the board, I'd say that, you know, most people's scores are going to be down when you take those 15 seconds off. You take another 15 seconds off and change nothing else, and this curve is going to go down real quick.
Right. Yeah, anybody can shoot fast. I mean, you can give somebody a gas gun, right? And they can get all the shots off.
Yeah.
Right. But it's luck if they're gonna if they're gonna get them all on plate. You know, that's what we're saying, right?
For sure.
Yep. All right. What else about the hybrid scoring system here? Do we think are results? Like one of the things that Josh and I were talking about was the finale. We might actually it'll take less points to get in, right? So that 269 that was last year, what is it going to be this year?
I think it's going to be closer to 250-ish, somewhere in there. 240, 250. And I've had the conversation with several people over the past week, you know, wondering like, hey, what am I going to need to do to get into the finale? And I just said, don't do anything different. One of the guys that I talked to, you know, was averaging right around 20th place at his matches. And
Right.
I said, if you keep getting 20th, you are going to be perfectly fine. There's nothing that you need to do different. You don't need to go hunt out, you know, this match or that match. Just keep going, having fun, and shoot like you can shoot. It's going to work itself out. So I think it's going to be realistically the same shooters going to the finale. It's just going to be a different number that gets you there.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see. I don't really know. What was it last year, Ken? The cutoff 269.
269, yeah.
Which I mean, that's it's almost 90 points for your 3 matches, right? Which is pretty solid shooting. And yeah, I know, like, I don't remember exactly where I was sitting, but somewhere in the 50th place, but like upper 280s. And like every match I went to the second half of the season, it's like, if I don't shoot at least a 96 here, I'm wasting my time. And it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that changes now? Like when you get towards the end of the season, and do we think that like going to a match, I don't know, how does that change it? Like, you know, like you said, waste of time. You end up going to a match to, you know, like, man, I need to squeeze out a few more points on this one to move up 10 positions. You know, does it become easier to do that? Right? I guess depends on the match you're at, right?
I think time will tell.
Clay, I mean, like last year you were at 298 and change, and
for the whole year, you know,
Yeah, right?
I just, you know, I kept getting close, but you know, I felt like I just ran into a buzzsaw over and over. Like I felt like I shot plenty
Right.
good enough to, you know, to win multiple of those matches, but somebody just had themselves a weekend. Can't take anything away from them. Just got beat. You know, and that's just kind of how it goes. So sometimes you can really be out there trying to improve it, and you don't. It's just part of it. But I was just looking at the scores from this past weekend, and Francis won with a 173 to get 90 points. in the old scoring
Mhm.
system, you would have needed 155.7 impacts, so 156. And it just so happens that, guys with a little, with right at 156 got 90, 155 got 89.6. So, I mean, it turned it in very, very, very close, for, that threshold, that 90,
You
Right.
still need to go to
rematch 90 point,
whatchamacallit.
Right.
So I still think it's going to be a little bit lower. I mean, Jake had a ton of shooters, and a lot of them did really well. So, but I think that it is still going into playing out where a little bit lower score is what does it at the end.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think it'll be like, I mean, if you're at your 298 and change, you still got to win. Period. I mean, that's all that
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and at the end of the day, like for me at least, it wouldn't have mattered whether I got that 300 or whether I didn't.
Right.
So.
Right. All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick break here, and then we're gonna bring on Prentice, the winner of last weekend's match. Hang in there, guys.
I'm just going to edit my post right now. Just going to go back and say, edit for posterity. Clay made me put this in. He called it, and I owe him $100 now, apparently.
Yeah. Well, he already paid Jeff Geary to throw the match so that apparently he could have the 1-2 in the right order.
That makes sense. I mean, I can see how much value that would add.
There's big money in PRS, so it makes sense that would happen.
Yeah. Well, we are recording, and Francis, thank you for joining us. Congrats on the win last weekend. We got lots of questions to hit you with. So, yeah, congrats, man.
Thanks.
Were you watching scores all weekend?
No. I looked at them at the end of day one just to see, and it was just, hey, let's make sure that there's where am I, right? But generally speaking, I don't look at scores that often. Now, to be fair, on Sunday, I was like, I know I'm shooting well. I just want to check. And it was somewhere around like my 15th stage. So 4 or 5 to go. I made the turn on the long drip back to stage 1, I guess it would be. And when I was over there, I looked and I'm like, okay, Jeff has dropped a couple. I still have a lot of work to do. And then, you keep cruising up and I'm like, well, look, we shot completely different courses of fire. So he has to shoot what I shot before. And I know that was fairly tricky. So there's a chance because I know that stuff around the other side of the horn was honestly tougher mentally, very dynamic. From the coyote stage with the crisscross to the diamonds to a few of the others. I have my matchbook in front of me and I was just going through it. There's a few that are doozies of trying to make sure the KYL on the flatbed, no guarantee you're going to take a 10 out of 10 there. So going from there up to the KYL, and I think it was one more in between where the long range KYL, I'm like, well, it's just going to require that I keep my head down. Somewhere between that stage and the final stage, my phone was open. It refreshed the scores. And I had the names just off to the, it wasn't visible on the names. And I unlock my phone, that pops up, and I see 19. And I remember I was at 18 the stage before, and I dropped 1. And I'm like, there's no one else this can only be me, and I'm in first place. This is a bad thing. Not really a bad thing. Just put your phone away. Don't want to look at this. And immediately just went, shut the phone off, put it away. I was trying to go check in for my flight. So.
Did you get checked in?
I did, yeah. I was like, close this and then put the phone away. Yeah, so.
Yeah, he must have, because I saw him at SHOT Show, so.
Yeah, I made the flight. Yeah, that was good. But no, I was checking scores, but not to see where I was at in the lead. It was just to say, is there a chance? Yeah, there's always a chance. And I think that was probably the one thing that I wish I hadn't done. I think anybody here, we can sometimes track scores. We know it's helpful, but I mean, I've talked to Clay about this numerous times. You can, Josh, not so much, but you can only do so much to win a match, and that's put your best foot forward with your best possible plan, execute it, see where the cards fall. Anything else, it's a little luck. I mean, Clay has a light up. I remember, was it a year ago or two when we shot at MKM, Clay? And you were one squad ahead of me, and I remember you just lighting it up. There was nothing I was going to do. I was constantly losing a shot or two. And every time he would get a 9 or a 10, I'd get a 9 or an 8. And I remember watching that dance and going, look, you have to figure out how to have your best day and hope everyone else has their best day and you're still ahead. But it's honestly the luck of the draw. So
You were nice enough to turn that around on me this year at MKM, so I appreciate that. I guess it was probably when you were making that turn, that's when I figured you had a real shot at it, because I went and looked at the scores that you had gotten on the stage that Jeff had left to shoot, and I was like, oh, those really bit Francis. And then I went to the ones that he was about to shoot, and Jeff ran through them pretty good, only dropped, 1 or 2 versus 5 or 6. I was like, it's gonna get pretty spicy right here. So
yeah, there's obviously strategy involved, and it's funny because I was looking through the matchbook beforehand. Like, this all seems straightforward. By the way, shout out to Gravestone and Jake, the team there. That facility, there's only 2 places I've ever thought about joining being thousands of miles away. One of them is K&M. The other is Gravestone. It's that good. The wind is unlike any other place I've been in the Southwest. It's very swirly. You have to really pay attention to the terrain. Look at what the terrain is doing from the direction the wind is coming from, and you hope you're guessing right. You're using Mirage every second you possibly can. The trees lie, the grass lies. It's a really cool facility to shoot at, simply because of how much it forces you to stay engaged.
And that's a point that Clay was making early on in the show here, where it's guessing, right? And luck that come into it. If you got to move fast and you have swirly wind, that, so there's a little bit of luck that comes into play, right? If you're out there hustling,
Always. The one that comes into mind is actually my last stage in terms of luck versus skill. So the Connexes, you had to shoot 3 targets out of a window at 6, 7, and 8 on what amounts to a 75%, in a full size or something close to that. IP6.
Big targets.
Big targets, right? It's 6, 7, and 8 full size IP6. Who cares? They're easy. But then you dropped prone and shot 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So troop line out. But those were on 30% to about 50%. Then you came back up to the window and repeated your 6, 7, and 8 on the full IPSC. And it was still we had 1:45 part times. So there was a lot of squad discussion about how do you get through this? Everybody's timing out. One important note, I heard a lot of discussion over the weekend about how difficult the match was from a speed versus technical execution. I generally, luckily, I've trained to the point where speed isn't really an issue for me, but it becomes sort of a comfort to know I can go faster. And if I have a little bit of gas left in the tank, I have a little bit more travel in my gas pedal, I can give it that and not fundamentally drop points. On that stage, though, it was honestly like, okay, is this something I really want to go fast? Because now I know I'm at crunch time. I'm at 19. So
it's your last stage.
19, on that stage, I was at 19 points down. Finish the stage clean. I'm at 19. There's not going to say Jeff would only have to drop 1, and we'd tie 2, and I outright win, or something close to that. Maybe it was 0 and we tie right away. I forget the exact math and where he was at. But thinking through the strategy of that stage, I'm like, well, big targets. I watched the wind. The wind was changing. It was in a headwind going from basically up to about 3 minutes before I shot. It was coming from a straight headwind, maybe tailing a little to the right. So it was coming from 12:30. 3 minutes before I shot, 2 shooters, 1.5 shooters up, suddenly we get this massive gust in a face, and it comes off of 11 o'clock. Now, we know what the difference is between an 11 o'clock wind and a 12:30 are polar opposites.
Sure.
It's a massive difference. And it was 15 miles an hour, like 10 to 15 coming at a headwind. So when it goes to 11, suddenly you're holding 0.5 mil to 3/4 mil left when it comes from 11 o'clock to, it was up to a 1 o'clock from their face. So it was all the way out to about 0.5 mil right. That's over a 1.25 mil wide range. And it was flipping about every 15 to 20 seconds. So mid-stage, I've shot Clay's matches. It was one of the most fair matches ever. It's just consistent. It makes sense. You can wrap your brain around it. And the cool part about Oklahoma, credit to Clay and why those guys are so good in the wind, big wins and big consistent wins, you can shift around and just calculate what's going to happen based on target angle. And it's the speed changes, but there's nothing really to get in the way to make it inconsistent all the time. Correct? Am I wrong on that, Clay? Like big open terrain?
For the most part.
Yeah. Or I should say I'm right on. Am I right? Yeah, well, this place, the trees are about 15 to 20 feet tall, and you're cutting in and out of arroyos. So what your bullet experiences versus what you think is going to happen can change just like that. It can be coming up a cut, you'll be good. The prevailing wind shifts just enough that whatever happens down in a valley sort of pulls the wind a different direction, and suddenly you get this big change in literally between position to position. I watched 4 or 5 shooters that, you know, you on the line, you're watching through binos and you're like, oh no, he didn't see it. Like, there's no way he felt this. He just set his bag down and it changed as he's setting a bag. He's closing his bolt and he's going to have a 2-second cadence. He's not going to catch the fact that it just pivoted and the mirage just dropped. It went to a boil.
That's where you need more time, right? Like you need
to take that second, right? Or 2
Yeah.
to reevaluate. Yeah. So, any rate, back to the story on the Connex. It was a speed versus execution. The wind was tailing back and forth. And I'm like, I have a 50-50 shot on my first call because I do not know where it's at. It was a
half
weird
mil
condition.
left or half mil right.
Yeah, it's one of the two. So make your best guess. And hopefully, because of the target width, you're hitting a side. So you're going to take more time on your first shot, spot the actual, and then hold off, make your shots. Go prone. Now you're on tiny targets. So you have to watch the first shot, watch the last shot from the window, use that to correct for your first shot on the prone. And now that's a tiny target. If I remember correctly, I think I hit that one and missed the third one out because you're getting higher max ord. And then coming back as I got into the window, the wind changed again and I blew it off the left. Wind came from 1 o'clock. It blew it off the left on the second to last shot.
And then you found it on your last one.
Yeah,
you were able to see it and make a correction.
Yeah, so I dropped 2.
Yep. How much time did you have left?
Like 10 seconds.
You still had 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
So knowing that now, do you wish you'd taken more time on it? I mean, when you get caught with your pants down like that, would more time have actually helped? I mean, you made good corrections, right?
It would have. I mean, it would have, yes, but I don't know that it would have resulted in a better. You have a 50. It's a binary.
Right. Yeah.
You either hit or you don't.
Yeah.
Up to that shot, but I hit the small target at 800 yards. It was a 50% IPSC from prone. Came up to the window, hit, saw the impact, and it just changed. I mean, between those two, it just changed. And in the prone, when I missed the one shot, I'm like, I wouldn't have made any different correction. It just changed enough that I wasn't able to see it. Had I waited, maybe I see it, but all that's going to do is add uncertainty from the last shot. So you're trying to stay with the condition as much as you can. You get a little bit lucky. It's easier to hold at 8, 9, or a 10. You get a little unlucky. You're closer to an 8.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a little bit. There's always some luck involved. And watching, I was fortunately overwatching Jeff. Right.
So that was your last stage. You finished. You're down 21 at that point.
Yes.
Pull your phone out. Check scores. Right.
Check scores and no. Jeff has to drop 2. We tie and he wins. 3. I beat him outright because I dropped 1 if we use the combined skill stage.
Yep.
So I know he can.
Jeff
only
had you
afford
on skill stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not on the PRS skill stage, on the animal skill stage.
Yep, combined stuff, yep. Yeah.
So yeah, it's 2 for him to tie and me to lose to second on a tie, or 3 and I win outright.
Okay. So where are you at in the course of fire here versus where Jeff's at in the course of fire?
I'm on the Connex.
Yeah.
He's prepping for his last stage and he's over on the diamonds. He's on stage, I forget which one it was.
I got
stage 12.
8 or 9 stages away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a little ways away. And I remember thinking, he hasn't shot yet. I want to go watch this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's nothing like pressure, right? I walked down and grabbed Chad and I'm like, hey, let's go watch Jeff. And legitimately, I wanted Jeff, like, we all root for everybody.
You don't want to see somebody fail, right?
No.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, this is a tough stage to spot because of where the diamond is. I want to go watch, bring my binos, and make sure that if he catches an edge, I'm gonna call it for him, like flat out. If somebody misses it, I want to be there to call it. He's clean through 7 shots.
How many?
10 on that stage.
It was 10.
Look at here. I think it's a 10 shot because we went off of the there's the rock pile. There's the Humming for Diamonds was the Humvee. and then it was the one, right before that. Here we go. Yeah, telephone poles. So it's 5 positions, and it's a KYL rack on the low target array at 562, and then a diamond at 625. But it's up and to the left and skylined. The positions are, so this is the kind of the critical thinking you're going through. Like, you're trying to make sure you pick the right position because they're all at different heights for each of those poles. So you need to pick something that is of the perfect height for you to get stable. KYL first shot, go up to the diamond. Move positions, KYL, next target up to the diamond. Just keep alternating. So the targets are getting smaller on your first, and the diamond's the same.
Yeah.
But it's about 75 feet up in the wind column.
Okay.
So
it's a different target you're shooting at. It could be on a completely different stage. Like, it's going to be different.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah. It acts goofy. And when I shot that, I dropped 3. And I remember thinking, I don't understand why I'm missing on this diamond. I'm making the right calls. And diamonds are inherently tough. You have to have perfect elevation. Your gun has to recoil right. You have to make the perfect wind call. Otherwise, your margin just shrinks real fast. He's clean through 7 shots. So he has hit his diamond confirmation and is now going to the 4th target on the TYL rack. And right as he transitions, wind just piles on. Like, it goes to 15 miles an hour, and from like 8 to 10. And I remember going, I'm thinking out loud in my, like, oh no, he's going to add more wind. But based on where that target is, if he feels wind, that doesn't mean it hits the bullet.
No. Yeah.
I'm like, I bet he adds a 10th, and he goes off the right side. A 10th off the right side. Now he's only off a 10th. He's going to transition that wind, make a correction, go up to the top, and you'll hit the KY and hit the confirmation. Drills it. Now he comes back to the small target. As soon as he transitions to the small, it drops flat enough that you could have dropped a feather and it would have went straight to the ground.
Yeah.
And like, as a shooter, my heart sank because I'm like, it was a half MOA circle.
Yep.
At 560 off of a pole, and the wind just went from 15 down to 0.
Yeah.
At least at the shooter. And so I don't know how many of you would have handled that, but I personally I would have taken my wind and cut it in half.
Yeah.
Judging on what I felt.
You don't go to nothing, right? It's not nothing. It's not nothing.
It's not nothing. But I would have dropped it. And I'm like, he should have just stuck with whatever he hit with on the last call, because chances are the average wind is going to be the same. And I'm like, he's going to miss left. Blows it off the left.
At this point, you guys are tied. With him,
we're tied. He has 1 shot
with
left.
him with the tiebreaker, though. Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys, new to 2026, you guys both don't get 100 points for this, right?
Like, exactly right.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was definitely on my brain.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So now he's got his last shot, and I'm thinking, well, he barely missed this target. There is no way he doesn't hit this. And I'm literally just, hey, that was a good match. Like, he had to miss somewhere else in order for this to have happened. Sails it off the top left corner.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
what a way to watch yourself win, right? Like, a guy that was down 19, so missing less than 1 per stage, basically, until his final stage where he drops 3.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, congrats.
I'd love to hear his story now.
I honestly want to see how he recounts that stage, to see what his brain was doing, because I wonder if we ended up if I thought the same things that he was thinking and that's what he did, or if he was just like, it's a little unstable or whatever. He shouldn't have been, but you know how it goes. It's there's a lot of guessing that goes into this game. We have to make smart, hedged bets against what we think the conditions are doing. Your gun has to be flawless. Your equipment has to be flawless. And you just hope you don't drop 1 or 2 that you shouldn't.
Yeah, and with the conditions, I mean, you just have to hope things hold out. Dang. All right, let's talk a little bit about your season then. So you're solo in the lead, 100 points. You're winning the series right now. And qualifier, like, to Clay's point, we were talking this just a little bit ago, but like, chasing qualifiers to get 100, that's going to be it's going to be a challenge this year. We're not going to have as many guys with 100 points, or 300, just because you're going to have to win qualifiers flat out. You can't tie for a win. So, what does this do to the rest of your season? How do you feel about things, going forward?
It's an interesting one because it doesn't change my season. Maybe 2 years ago, I started having a differential approach in how I look at just shooting in general.
Mm-hmm.
Season doesn't end. I think all of us would agree, as much as we say it's a new season, you're not really ending a season when you finish your last match or your finale. You're just taking what you learned from a finale and applying it to another match just a couple days later, a couple weeks later. And that was really all this was. So when I think of the season / starting a season, I'm just picking up where I left off from a little break over Christmas. And this just happens to be a break point where, there's a new season. If I think about it like a season, hey, I started off hot or whatever, it's doesn't gain me anything. So I tend not to approach anything with a season outlook so much as a individual match performance outlook. What do I have to do to get better?
So do you think, what's your next match that you're signed up for or planning on attending?
Frostbite is the next one.
What is your mentality going into that one? And that's March this year. It's not even frosty. Like, it's going to be hot.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not
probably 50.
But
Yes.
Mentality going to that, to be honest, I haven't actually put thought energy into it because, working in the industry with MDT.
Oh, no. Chad would be so disappointed right now that match has already started. What are you doing?
It has.
I'm going to get Chad on the horn here.
And I have my cues from the last one. So this is what I do at the end of every single match, right? So I take procedure, process planning, preparation, etc., all the P's, elevation, wind, and stability / spotting. And I add up all the things that I had an error. Even if it didn't cost me a point. I didn't start my timer. That's a process error.
Mm-hmm.
I write all those down so I can see where I add up. And ideally, I should see a 0 in all categories except wind. Ideally, perfect wind. It is a perfect match. But I should see a 0 in every category that's in my control, including elevation and stability, spotting, and the P's for sure. And they're not. So what started for this next one is I know my load, I know my barrel, I know the ammo that I'm going to run. That's all just has to be made. That's about a month and some change out. So I'll load that this weekend, plus 100 rounds for practice. And then I'm going to go get to work on those pews. I'm going to go find the things that didn't work. Where did I make the breakdown? Read through the stage. What led to that? And I have some notes on each individual stage as to what led to the error. It's funny because Clay specifically, you said, hey, all these northern guys are going to probably come into this. Thank you guys.
Except for Prentice.
They're going to have a few more mistakes because they're not really into the tune. Everybody else in the South has all this advantage. And Clay was like, well, yeah, but I still going to go with Francis, right? And I remember hearing that, and I didn't start a timer, and I also didn't fire one shot because I forgot that we had to fire at the 600 far target at like the Humvee stage. Jeff did the same thing, by the way. So he also was rusty despite being in the South. We all make mistakes, and this is the only way I know how to keep my brain de-checked until I'm 100% committed to doing something about it. And so I think this is for me, it's an important distinction. If I had to fly from the match to SHOT Show, spent a week at SHOT Show, now I'm back, and now I'm catching up from SHOT Show. It'll be mid next week before I'm caught up. So this has effectively been a 3-week match. At least it feels that way.
Yeah.
I'm only now going to be able to start thinking about the next one as soon as I can have the mental capacity to absolutely put 100% focus on what I'm doing.
Sure.
If I'm distracted and trying to do some things in between other steps or processes, I'm going to drop the ball on ammo. I'm going to drop it on which barrel, any practice routines, and I don't do that. So I just wait until I have 100% focus, and then I can start actually prepping for this next match. So
you said a lot there, right? And I think there's probably shooters at home that want to get to that next level. I think I know what you would say based on all of that analyzing you just did of your performance. I mean, what would you tell a new, or I don't want to say new shooter, but what would you tell like a mid-pack guy or somebody watching right now and like, oh my gosh, I got like, if that's what it takes to win, like, what's the advice?
Get off the reloading bench. Find something roughly half MOA. Pin that in the sand and go load 1,000 rounds.
Well, you just said get
Go
off the
work on
reloading bench, so I'm gonna cut.
Yeah. Literally
Yeah.
just
So just
stop tinkering on
Yeah.
the load to try to find the next quarter minute, 10th minute. This group, your load, typical load dev, 2/10 increments on a dasher from 31 to 32. Oh, this one's working. Now let me adjust my seating depth. You add up all the hours that I did doing that for my first 5 years shooting, 2 years competitively, but 5 years prior to that, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I'll just say it that way. And I don't want to say where I would be, but I can tell you for a fact I would be far further ahead than where I was spending all of that time working purely on groups when I wasn't actually focusing on fundamentals. I was just trying to, is that group small enough? Let me go tinker on a load. That group's not small enough. Let me go tinker with the load. It's the biggest waste of money and waste of time that I could possibly have. Looking back, that was the biggest waste of time I've ever had in my career. So find something that's plus or minus half MOA and work on fundamentals. What does that mean? NPA, bag placement, footwork, rifle mechanics. What is an common situation that you're going to find yourself in? You drop your bag. How do you get it back? Your bipod's too low. How do you get up to the target and manipulate it to lose 2 seconds or 3 seconds as opposed to 8? Just the stuff that you run into in a match is generally not going to be precision related that causes you to miss. So,
well, I mean,
Wade told me something.
Yeah.
Wade told me something that was, very similar to that whenever I first started, and I just rolled my eyes like, if I've got a quarter MOA, like that's not enough. I'm gonna miss half as many shots if I got a .1 gun.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say who it is, but I got a buddy that we were talking this past year about shooting, and I would say, how often do you go to a match where you don't have the best gun there? And he said, probably never. I said, okay. How often do you win? And he just kind of like looked shocked. I was like, so what you're telling me then is people with worse guns are beating you. What does that tell you? Like that there's something that you need to work on other than what your focus is. And I think a lot of people get caught in that.
Ken, you know this. We've talked a lot about Formula One and racing and mindset. What Max Verstappen did, if anybody who's listening to this that follows Formula One, what he did in the 2025 season should point out, like with no exceptions, that a suboptimal equipment can be outperformed and maximized to still be a winning performance and winning solution if you just continue grinding at it and finding the other ways. Because you can't make your rifle shoot, find another way. Get better at wind, get better at barrage, be faster to give yourself time to settle. Really scrutinize a shot. Like just, man, there's a 1,000 ways you could get better that don't involve getting tighter groups. So I think it's a lot cheaper. So
even as you say that though, like all those things will tighten your groups, and realistically, 100%. 95+% of our shots are at a target larger than a 1 MOA. So if you only have a half MOA gun, you make the right wind call and you break the shot at the center, you're never missing it. Never.
Exactly
so,
right.
But everybody that I load ammo for, please ignore that part of the podcast.
Well, to be fair, I said find something at half MOA, not quarter. And this is really where I think I've had this discussion with a few people lately. And I asked, what's the difference between a brand new shooter and say you? And I'm like, this is something I've actually experimented with. When I go to the range over the last 4 years, I have given my exact rifle to a shooter who's either never fired a gun. Like there were 2 guys and then one guy who had his wife there over 2 years ago. The 2 guys had never fired. They were learning shooting pistols. They had never fired a long gun. But I showed them, here's how you shoot from a bipod. Do this with a bag. Here's how you engage the trigger. By the way, dry fire it. Shoot 5 shots from a bag and modified prone. Then I put the rifle on a bag and show them how to drive with a bag and shoot the same 5-shot group off of a bag. I'm curious what you guys think. What do you think the largest group was from the 18 people that I've had do that? What's the largest group out of my dashers and 6.5s?
1 inch.
Smaller.
I would have said bigger
brand
than
new
that.
shooters.
I would have
Yeah.
said bigger than that because somebody yanks one somewhere, but
Yeah.
0.7.
0.7's the largest. Yeah, I
And
mean,
the average was 0.6.
yeah, that's because you spent all that time like making perfect ammo and getting a rifle system.
Well, yeah, exactly. All that loading development. Yeah. But I
exactly.
think this is a really important note for people who are
Yeah.
listening that are thinking, well, you have to have better ammo. If
Yeah.
if I shoot that gun, all of my guns shoot on average 0.3 inches for 5 shots, plus or minus about 0.15.
They're all
inches.
touching. Yeah, it's
Right,
it's kind of one big hole. Yeah,
They're 0.15 up to about 0.45,
yeah.
roughly. So if I can shoot that gun, and I would then shoot the gun right behind them and see what it did, so I have a 1-to-1 to make sure it wasn't the gun or anything else going on. Their average was 0.6. My average is 0.3. So that means that even if you don't know what you're doing, your ability to keep a reticle centered at 100 yards, press a trigger on a stable gun that's heavy, designed like we shoot in PRS, the skill level takes us from a 0.6 to a 0.3 for the same equipment. And people misinterpret that and say, well, and that means all I'm going to gain from skill is a third of a minute. No, what it means is that the building a rifle position repeatedly solid every single time will net you a 50% improvement from the best equipment. But when you go from, say, a 1 MOA gun, if you hand me an AR or you hand me a brand new rifle that's poor quality or just not shooting well with bad ammo, you cannot know the difference between a 0.7 to 1 inch gun with poor fundamentals versus a perfect shooter with a 0.7 to 1 inch gun. I know when it's the gun, and it's basically anything that shoots over about 0.3. I also know that if it's shooting a 1 inch group, I'm not magically a 1 inch shooter with that system.
Right.
Almost loosely logic, because if it's a super lightweight rifle, it'd be really hard to shoot.
I get it.
I feel like it's church on Sunday morning and you're preaching to me because I'm a major tinker and I'm always messing with stuff. But to your point,
I'm glad you recognize
I
that,
was
Josh.
actually talking about you this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, yes. But no, it's good information for me to have too, because like with customers, hey, what should I try with this cartridge? You know, it's like, hey, try this, and that. So I have a lot of data. I have a pile of data. I'm sure Clay has as much or more data because he loads for people for a living. But to that point, you take a 1 inch gun and put it. I mean, to summarize all this, basically, you put a 1 inch gun in Francis or Clay's hands, and they're going to beat 99% of people. You put a 1/4 inch gun in Joe Blow's hand, he's not going to win a match.
I say it all the time. Most people can't tell the difference in a shotgun and a laser beam. It's just the reality.
You would say that.
It's one of the reasons why I do my load development on camera, is so that when the customer gets their rifle back, like if they're shooting a 1 inch group or a 2 inch group, like, hey, like this doesn't do what you said it did. Like, look at the video. Like, this is on your gun. Camera on me, camera on the through the scope. Like, there's no wondering, what it can do or what it can't do.
It's really hard to tell a shooter who has invested time, specifically money, not necessarily time or the right time, that they need to work on technical skills to achieve what they're trying to achieve. It's easy to think that you can buy your way into precision. And in some cases, you sort of can. I mean, I think we just sort of said, hey, I can take my rifle, hand it to Joe Blow with 13 seconds of touch this bag here, squeeze until it's in the middle and press a trigger. And they shoot about a 3/4 minute group at worst. But what it doesn't do is let you do that under stress, different positions, under different times, at different locations, and it doesn't tell you anything about wind. So there's a lot more to it than that.
Man, we appreciate the lesson here too, and that is great advice to give anybody that's wanting to improve their game here. Like, it doesn't happen at the reloading bench. Like, it happens via practice, man.
Get out to matches.
Get out to matches, exactly. And Francis, we appreciate having you on. Look forward to seeing how well you do the rest of the year. Good luck at the mild frostbite that is coming up in March.
Hope you didn't just jinx it, man. March in southern Indiana could be 0 degrees.
Could be 75 and sunny too.
Or 75 and sunny.
Or both. All the above.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday. So, man, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming on tonight. Hang tight.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Prentice, welcome to the show.
I appreciate it.
Heck yeah. You got a big match this weekend. One of two that you host for us, the Pro Series.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Let's talk about your match real quick. I know I've been to Texas PM. I know it's more than just course fire and hitting targets and all that. What I guess tell us about your match and what you pride yourself on there.
Man, we try to make it an event from Saturday to Sunday with vendors at check-in. We try to do, if a vendor wants to come out and set up a tent, if they want to come out and set up a table, it's free of charge. Come out. We want everybody there. Side stages with the specific guns and equipment that we want to show off for the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
All props are open on range day. That's part of the entry fee. So if you come out on Friday, you can shoot every prop, every piece of steel, everything's available. Saturday and Sunday, we start the match with a cannon, like a real live 3-inch bore cannon. Sounds a little bit different than a dasher, but not by much.
Not suppressed. You should build a suppressor for that. Now that everybody's doing a Form 1, you should see what that would sound. Kind of takes the point away from it, doesn't it?
It definitely takes the point of making noise away. Neighbors may not be as happy that I have it because I shoot it in the neighborhood on New Year's and 4th of July, but we have enough that come over and watch, so I don't think anybody's too terribly upset.
You put anything in it other than gunpowder?
I do a flower on the front side of the gunpowder just for smoke effect, but we have fired a projectile before, and they go a long way. I'd be interested to set up a chronograph and see what kind of velocities we're getting, but I'm also not willing to risk sending around into the we don't know where.
Well, what you really need to do, get that one chronograph right there by it, and then set your other one down range and get a BC on your little mini bowling ball.
I mean, it's a 9-pound chunk of lead.
Just take a beer can, fill it with concrete. That would be sweet.
I mean, it's a green bean can full of concrete. Is
there you go.
Literally will fit down the bore.
Wow. Now we got goals, don't we? All right. All right. Food? What are you planning? I know you want to talk about this, so what's the weather supposed to be like? All of it, right?
Weather is going to be cold. I'm not going to lie to anybody. 2 weeks ago, it looked like we were going to be in the 50s and 60s. A week ago, it looked like we were going to have 30s and 40s and a pretty good chance of rain, which isn't uncommon at this match in particular. And now it looks like Saturday's going to be 20 to 30s and no rain, and Sunday's going to be 30 to 50 with no rain, completely opposite winds. Friday, we should have a completely different wind than we'll have Saturday and Sunday. So shooters will get to play in pretty much every condition we have at Texas PM.
I don't know if I've ever been there where it didn't rain. Once upon a time I slept in a tent, out there, it got flooded.
You did do that one year, Clay. And
Rick
I think that was one of your first. I think that was one of your first matches down here that you did that.
It was. And Rick Reeves took pity on me and let me come in all soaking wet into his camper there.
Yeah, I think I shot that 2 years in a row and got soaked both times.
And
I said, man, I ain't going back there. And then it's been like 2 years, and last year it seemed like I got rained on every other match. So I'm like, I'm ready for punishment. So I'm going this year.
Oh man, Josh, just bring your cold weather gear.
That's all I got. We're in Illinois, man.
It's cold for the South. Let me say that we're going to be 20s and 30s, but that wind's it'll cut through most Carhartt stuff that we have down here.
It's like negative 15 here yesterday.
Yeah, no, you keep that up there.
All right. What kind of course fire can we look forward to, right? Like nobody's cleaning this, right? You're gonna and I gotta ask this, right? You can promise me nobody's gonna clean this match, right?
I will say with not absolute certainty, but it will. I can promise you, if they do it, they will have earned every single shot. That if they clean it, if I'm being honest with myself, 12 to 16 drop shots is what I kind of expect the winner to drop.
You running 20 stages?
18 stages,
18?
180 rounds, 10 round stages.
So you think the winner will be 168 to 166? 12 to 14, you said?
That's kind of where I think.
Yeah.
Just looking at the course of fire, looking at the targets, looking at the wind, and I think the weather and the coldness is going to have an effect on it. Guys start getting late in the day on Saturday. You've been out in it all day, and sometimes your fingers just don't want to pull the trigger whenever your brain says pull the trigger.
Sure. Nobody's
Or
having an
vice
NG.
versa.
No, that'll be brought up in the safety brief on if you're not used to shooting in gloves, take the gloves off, guys.
Yeah.
A cold hand is better than going home for.
All right. Well, let's talk about some predictions then. I have on the screen here a list. One of those names is actually on this call. Josh Egyed, shooting suppress. That's what the S is. Josh, how do you think you're going to do down there? You've shot there a couple times now.
Yeah, it's been a while. I honestly, once I get there, I'll be able to picture it, but I can't remember. I remember is it a pond or a lake down there you shoot into for half of it?
Yeah, it's
a cornfield or bean field.
Up until this week, it was bone dry. There's water behind probably 10% of the targets now. We don't have near the water we normally have in January. We've been extremely dry down here, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, outside of that, for me, confidence is king. I'm going to say I have good attitude and plan on winning it, so.
There you go. Feeling pretty confident about the weekend?
We'll see. We can knock the rust off.
That's exactly what I think confidence is. We'll see.
Yep.
No, so seriously though, Kyle McCormick, when's the last time he shot?
The finale.
He said he's not shooting this year.
Well,
he's shooting for fun. I don't think he's shooting to chase points this year.
It's the best decision you can make.
So, is he our guy? Prentice, who do you think? Let's go down the line here. Prentice, who do you think? And so the list I have here is not an exclusive list, right? Like you got 200 people coming, but I cherry picked when I made this list. You know,
I'm gonna pick second place as Chris Catalic because 5 out of 6 years he's taken second place at one of my matches. So I'm gonna put stats on it, and I'm gonna take Chris for second. If I'm being honest, Gage Caples or Kate Estes are due, and they both shoot really well at Texas Precision matches. I don't know if Caruso's coming. It's still kind of up in the air with work for him, so I don't want anybody to pick him and just get taken out. John Delicati shoots really well here. I mean, none of these guys that are on this list would shock anybody, I don't think, if they came out and won.
Well, Chris Catalic, that would shock you. But second place, he's an in, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna hand somebody a set of custom spurs for the match, and I mean, if it's Chris Catalic or Kate or Keith or any of these guys, I'm gonna be happy for them, and they're gonna be earned, just like at any other PRS match in the country.
I'll be happy if anybody wins, right? But like, I need a name.
Somebody's going to win. I'll take Chris for second and Kate Estes for first.
Bold move, Cotton. I like it. Clay?
I'm going to go in Delicati, Catalic, McCormick.
McCormick third? Okay.
Man, I'm going to finish with winning in mind, the book, tonight. And take my confidence there, dude. And outside of that, yeah, I got Chris Catalic. I think Sam Gearing's going to show up pretty strong. And Derek Warren's always up there. But Gage, I mean,
I hear
let's
you.
go the 30-year-old, or 16-year-old, 30-year-old Gage and
He's closer to
myself.
40 than 30. I've seen his beard recently.
Okay, you think it's going to be Gage, and you're pretty confident you'll be up there.
Yep.
That's your pick.
Yep.
I'm going to stick with Keith Rudisill. Man, I picked him last weekend. He shot his last 17 of 19 stages really well. A lot of confidence. I feel like it's owed him. But man, there's a lot of good shooters here. Josh, I like your chances. I like the Kyle McCormick, him, just going for fun, taking the pressure off him, and he's a with winning in mind kind of guy. He was on his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what it takes. Just shoot for fun, but we'll see. Suppressor.
I'm going to try that sometime. That would be. That's probably the approach. I know Clay talked about it. What was it, a couple of years ago?
It's the best decision I could have possibly made. It's so much more fun going to matches now. Placements have been good, but that's not at all what makes it fun now.
I love it. I put S's on here, the guys that were also signed up under suppressor category, at least as well as Prentice. I had him labeled in impact scoring. A little backstory there, but who do you think top suppressor? Probably
I think Gage.
Yeah, Gage.
Gage or Keith on that one. That they're both Keith Rudisill's probably got more wins at Texas Precision matches one days than anybody else in the country, and John and Delicati's trying to catch him, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Gage for suppressor, and I get that.
You already said Rudisill. You can't. It's the same. All
right, I'm taking Rudisill then. I was trying to hedge my bet, right? Josh,
mine are the same. So
Josh and Josh,
or both suppressed.
There you
Gage
go.
and myself.
Got it. All right, let's top tack. We got 4 tack shooters here.
I'm going Coulter. That guy's, working to get on Team USA. I think he's probably been practicing quite a bit. I think that's my pick.
Same. I'm going Coulter.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't know the other names. I do know Coulter well, so that's my pick.
Mm-hmm. Man, I wouldn't hold Steven Schobler out. He's one of my local guys. He shoots our local series pretty heavily. Coulter's hard to beat with a 308, but I wouldn't be shocked if Steven came out of nowhere and maybe took that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked to see Coulter in top 10. Honestly, I think yes.
I mean, he's shooting a 308, so
I know what I said. All right, taking a look at gas gun. Not a lot of choices here.
It's Caples.
Well, sure. I mean, that's the easy pick, right? Caples. Corey Adamski coming over from Florida. I don't know if Corey is a typical gas gun guy, though. And I can tell you, if you're not a typical gas gun guy, it's not as straightforward as you think. So,
no, Tyler Payne said it's easy.
Oh yeah, he shot at AG Cup with a gas gun, didn't he? I think he showed up with a 6th Creed one year, the AG Cup, year number 2, I think, and he was just going for stage wins. It didn't work out, but it was fun to watch.
Times were fast.
Times were very fast. But you don't win anything if you miss a shot. Are we all taking Richard here?
Yeah,
Josh?
I think I'm going Rick.
I don't know the other two, so it's hard for me to pick against Caples with a gas gun.
It's too bad it's not going to be a hot match because you would never forget Corey Adamski in his short shorts. But
I know who Corey is. I just had never seen him shoot a gas gun.
Yep.
And he may still wear short shorts.
That wouldn't surprise me. Let's just bring it up here.
Isn't impact scoring nice, Ken?
It is.
It really is.
Super nice. Sportsman.
Just because the only guy I know is Tony, so I'm gonna take Tony.
Yeah, he's local to you too, right?
He's out of Dallas. He doesn't shoot our club
Wow.
series very much, but I think he's shot every single 2 days since he started.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Tony as well.
Yep, Tony.
Tony. Okay. Next one would be production. We had 10 guys here. I'm gonna give a shout out to Tate Cunningham. This is his second year competing. I don't think he's gonna win production with some heavy hitters in here, but it'll be fun to watch him from home.
Is Chad Estes in there?
Yeah.
He's right here. Yeah.
That's probably my pick.
I mean,
Against him.
Can't
I'm
bet
gonna-
against him.
I'm gonna take Chad, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was in the top 10.
Here you go. We're gonna have a tax shooter and a production shooter in the top 10. All right. International. Sam Trevino showed up on international here, so I put a red line through him.
Okay,
Not-
I'll fix that.
I don't know. Wait, Sam Trevino is or is not in?
In international?
Yeah.
He better not be. He's a match director over at Altus.
I was gonna say that doesn't.
And he's got an
doesn't-
American flag next to it.
Florida man, I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from Florida man. Are they true Americans or are they just Floridians?
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is how you say it or not, but it's the coolest name in the PRS. Kevin Needs Weeds. I have no idea if that's how you say it, but that's my pick right there.
From Canada, needs weeds. I like that.
He's been in my drafts before.
Okay.
Is Joseph Sixth isn't shooting this year, is
No, he
he?
he won last
it
year.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna pick AJ.
Dazel from that's South Africa, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know any of these guys, so it was the first name I saw.
Josh?
AJ. Going AJ.
AJ? I'm gonna go Teresa from Czech Republic. I'm gonna kind of a wild card there, but she tends to shoot well. She's shooting pretty much an Okie special with a Night Force on there, so can look and go wrong. Yeah, and student, right? All right. Top weighty. We have 8 of them there. Peyton, she's local to you.
Kate, Peyton, Kayla's local to me now.
Corey K.
Corey's not a female. I'll go in there and fix that too.
Could be Corey with an I.
I mean, Annie Leatherman's local.
Yeah.
Kate's hard to beat. It'd be Kate or Peyton would be my 2 picks.
Clay.
Gotta go, Kate.
Yep. Josh.
Yeah, I said Kate or Peyton, but watching Kate last week, I'm gonna give her the edge.
Yep. I'm with you. I'm with Kate. Juniors. Let's point out John Winston is 10 years old.
Can we remove Gage from this conversation and have a legit junior conversation? Because otherwise, it's just going to be Gage.
I mean, Gabriel Dallas is.
I know.
If you're going to take Gage out, it's going to be Gabriel. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I've seen many pictures where that JW Truitt looks a lot like Morgan King, or vice versa. It's something along those lines. So it's hard not to pick that guy. Pretty good.
Yep. Shows up with a cowboy hat on and a vest, and
has a lot of first place trophies. I've seen him.
It's hard to distinguish the two. We're all picking Gage here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Top senior.
Give me Dale.
Dale Rhodes.
Yeah.
And I'll take Mark Peace.
Doing it.
He's a local guy to me, and he's won a couple of matches recently on our 1-day series. So
to be fair, the 4 names I put up there were just the pros for the category.
You got Tim Miller in that. I mean, there was like 20 plus seniors in there. Like we had a bunch.
This is
31
a full retirement community here.
I mean, Lewis Eckerd, Tim Miller, those guys could definitely jump up there and shoot with Dale.
I mean, we're making it all relative to Dale, right? I don't.
My local Okie, he's not going to let me down two times in a row.
Well, and
He got it.
Yeah, and he was top 5 for a while last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was looking really good for the match.
It was. And then top male LEO.
Man, that one's...
I think we all picked Sam Trevino 2 weeks ago. He's shooting this one as well.
I'm probably going to go with Sam.
The easy pick.
Yep.
I'm going Sam.
Sam.
I wonder if in an episode or 2 or 3, you're gonna stop with like easy pick, because they're like, hey, I'm canceling my membership because I was on that list and you said easy pick about somebody else. I want my money back. In before those phone calls.
Yep.
Anybody needs Clay Blackhetter's phone number, I'll give it out.
It is listed on the website, which really needs to change.
So, Clay, did you give your easy pick? Or are you just going Sam?
I'm going Sam.
All right, that's easy. Man, it would be fun to watch how this shakes out. Prentice, hope you have an excellent weekend, bud, and try to stay warm. You got insulated overalls?
I got insulated bibs, and I'll have stuff underneath them too. It's not going to be a pleasant sunny and 75, but I'll take cold and windy over rain. I tell everybody all the time, it's miserable for the match director as much as it is the ROs and the shooters.
I'm not saying I want you to have to jump in a pond and go fishing for a target, but I kind of want you to go fishing in a pond. It was one of the coolest things I've seen at a match.
I hate that shark. We have never used it since. Ever. And I gave those targets away. Literally, I had a guy that was like, hey, I'm setting up a range in my backyard. Cool. I got 3 sharks for you.
Nice. Well, you can get rid of those barn-shaped targets too.
Well, can't put out the barn doors. We got to put up the whole barn.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Well, good luck, Prentice. Thanks for coming on tonight. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye. All right, final segment of the show here. Let's a little bit off-topic conversations, and then we'll get final statements here. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up that came out of nowhere for me 2 weeks ago, and I didn't realize this was a thing, and now I'm hearing it all over, right? Is this sort of pick'em leagues or fantasy PRS? And Clay, I mean, you set this one up like blindsided me with this, and I felt like I said to everybody, I'm like, I feel foolish for not seeing this coming, but now I love it.
Yeah, it makes it such a good spectator sport. So much more interesting. Until we start getting, highlights like golf where they're tracking the ball, tracking the bullet. We get that, we got to have something to substitute.
I love it. Yeah. I mean, like it's the engagement throughout the entire thing, right? Like just these conversations we're having up front, and then seeing it shake out. Like it's, I'm gonna be watching. Normally I would check in on Saturday night, and then I'd watch maybe the final stage on Sunday or whatever. But I'll go through and summarize what we picked tonight, and I'm seeing if I got more right than you.
Yeah, I probably got 20 text messages on Sunday saying, I can't believe you got, these right. Like, so, I mean, it's not just the guys that are playing it, people that watched it, a couple weeks ago, like got invested, enough in our picks to watch. So
well, that's
soon we start putting some PRS memberships on it, some swag, it's really going to get big.
It will. Josh?
A couple of guys in our group would just be like, who do you think's going to win? We've been doing that for forever. Mm-hmm. But then it was actually Vince at work that I kind of brought this up, and then to find out Clay's been doing it with buddies forever, or the last couple of years at least. And then this week talking to like Sam Gearing on the phone. He had their own little pool going up there too for the Gravestone match, and he's got a whole spreadsheet and everything.
Yeah, I have a spreadsheet here. I'm gonna share. I didn't ask him if I could do this, so maybe I'm way overstepping here, but we'll at least share the format so that this gets some of the ideas going, right? So how to score points. Top 5 after day 1. If your pick is first, you get 15. second is 13, third 10, fourth 8, fifth 6 points, right? So you can earn points just after day one, which I absolutely love, right? Like, because Clay says no, but this gets you engaged, like, nonstop, I think, right? Like you're glued. Like, it's like watching Super Bowl when you have the numbers, right? And you're like, oh, it needs to be 3-0 at the end of the half. Come on, I'm gonna win $50, right?
I mean, I get that side of the argument, but we were adding up our scores on Saturday night, and we were within 4 or 5 points of each other. So I mean, we were still really invested, but we don't know who's going to win yet. So this to me is more side potish than main pot.
Sure. Top 60 of drafted shooters end of day 2. So yeah, top 10 is however many points times 25%. 11th through 20th is points times 15. 21st through 30th is points times 10. And so I mean, the sums at the end of this, or at least this is Sam's way of doing it, like you're gonna have a lot of points. Like the scores are gonna be high and kind of all over the place, right? I like some of these things that they did. So it's not just like picking whoever's getting the most impacts. You get fastest PRS barricade. If you pick that, you get 10 points, right? Top senior, 10 points. Top junior, lady, like all the categories, 10 points. Top pro, semi-pro marksmen are worth 5. Amateurs 5. Non-classified is 5. So I mean, you're picking, and actually, when I looked at who picked in Sam's pool last week, like Francis went first, and then Chad Heckler was second, right? Because you're hedging that top tack, which isn't even here. Where is it? Am I missing it?
I don't think it's there.
It's not there. It should be there. I'm assuming it's 10 points, but you're hedging that bet, right? Like now I got a top tack guy who's going to earn a bunch of points for me and likely be up in the standings.
I mean, I think there's some good strategy pieces on this. If this all becomes options on like impact scoring or something like that, I promise you, I'm going to be on there a lot.
You promise? And Josh, comments? I mean, what are your thoughts on doing something like this?
Oh, I think it's definitely interesting. Yeah, it needs almost a program. It's a lot of numbers there you got to be into it. You know what I mean? I mean, and honestly, you can be into it in just a form fact and randomly pick and just have fun with it too. Like you don't have to actually apply that much thought to it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's some luck involved too, right? Depending on where the match is and how many people are signed up, you could probably just get lucky with some of the picks. So Clay, can you explain the format that you guys do?
So we just do a snake draft, and depending on how many people that we have in the draft, so let's just say that it was me and 3 buddies that were going to do it. We take a look at how many people are going to be on what we think are like top end shooters, and so then we kind of look at that and figure out how many picks each person should have, and then we just do your typical snake draft. So we draw straws, we flip a coin, we do whatever to determine our draft order, but then it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so we go through and draft. So like sometimes you want to be that guy that gets that first pick because maybe there's just one knockout like a Jeff Gary or a Francis there, or maybe it's a match like the finale or Hornady or K&M where there's a bunch of really good people, and you might rather be that last guy so you get 2 really good ones in a row, and then maybe they run out by the time you get to the other side. So, that's traditionally how we run them.
Okay, and
then we just do point total.
Total impacts?
Yep.
Total impacts. Okay. And it's not, so if there's say 120 person match and you look at it and there's, like top 40 are studs, then you go, okay, we each get 10.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
So how many points or like picks do you get? Clay, you might have just said that, but I was looking at that spreadsheet, and is there like a standard as far as that goes?
We just do it
Like-
based on, who we see there. Because, like, some matches, you just don't know that many names. You can't know everybody. No matter what match you're looking at, you're not going to know everybody on the list. So we try to do it where, even if they're not necessarily absolute top-end shooter guys that we know. Like this weekend, if I was going to, and we do it sometimes just point total, or maybe we're trying to get as close to hitting the top 5 or the top 10 exactly. But let's say that we were going to do something this weekend where we're just trying to get top 15 in order. A wild card, that I would throw out there, you guys would think is a wild card. I don't think it's going to be, is David Benner. He's going to be a guy that you may or may not have seen his name yet. But I think there's a real good chance that he's getting top 15 out there. So that's one of those that, you maybe hold in your back pocket, like when you're trying to, get that point total, or you're not getting to, pick all the guys that you necessarily want to in order. Like you were saying, you pick, Chad Heckler second because they're getting extra points, something like that. I might, store that one in my back pocket. Another one that, comes up fairly often, Steve MC. He shoots, he's real good, and most people don't know that name. So every time I see that on there, I'm like, yep, just going to set that one in the back pocket, not going to draft it early. And then anytime it gets picked and people realize who it is, they're just kicking themselves.
Yep. Yeah, Steve MC is another one of those guys with a really low PRS number. I mean,
I'm sure
he's in the first hundreds, but and he shoots when he can, because of work or whatever, and he's kind of incognito, and he always shoots well.
Always shoots well.
Yeah.
Whenever we were doing this finale, several people just pulled up the squad list, the PRS posted, and just looking through, the top however many squads. And most people didn't realize that Darzi was in squad 1920. Well, I don't know what number it was in. Obviously not where Darzi belongs. And that was another one that was just a secret pick that people just didn't notice. It was good. So you can have a lot of fun just looking through and finding your little gems.
Yep.
So say there's 10 guys playing. How do you determine how many picks you get?
It's just based on what the match looks like. We'll just arbitrarily pick based on looking through the roster and seeing, how many guys we all know. If there's only 10 people that anybody even can pronounce their names, well, we can't do a 10-person draft, and we can't do very many people. And that might be where we, if we were going to do it, we might, focus more on, okay, you got to pick your top, semi-pro, your top marksman, and that's stuff that we've kind of started doing as your tiebreaker, because we'll tie once in a while, and so who gets closest on picking the top marksman, semi-pro, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it makes sense. You could, and there's probably a formula, right, that most matches would follow, where you could say, if there's you always take 40% of the total, right? And if there's 100 shooters, make it easy math. Then you say, all right, well, that's 40 that we're going to pick. There's 4 of us in there. We're going 10 rounds. Or if there's 10 of us, we go 4 rounds, right? Yeah.
I think you could easily do a percentage like that and cover the vast majority of matches.
Yeah. So the good news is when I brought this up with Bill Tincup last 2 weeks ago now, I said, man, guys are doing this. And I'm getting texts all, because we released this episode, and then everybody's texted me about how fun it is or how they want to do it. Like, well, Bill, you're the software guy. Let's make it happen, And so we are working on it. On it. Now, I mean, we just talked about 2 different formulas, right, on how to do it. I think we got to come up with a way, right? And I think I got to assume DraftKings has this mastered, right? So we just got to look at how they're doing it and probably adopt whatever the most simple way is, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Are you just going to do it with your buddies, or are you going to have an open pool, on that match where anybody can go in, because there's some stuff on DraftKings and FanDuel and stuff like that where, you can all have the same player. Several people can have this. People can have the same player. Are you going to do it like that, where it's just the best lineup wins? Are you going to let something like that, or just pick it with your buddies, or both? Have both of them running,
or multiple pools, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could be in a pool with way different buddies, and just keep doing your pick 'em or whatever. That's
it's kind of limitless.
It is.
You made a scoring committee, so maybe you need a
pick 'em committee.
Pick 'em committee.
Yeah, that's It's not a bad idea. Like I
And
guess if
Clay, it sounds like you can be the leader of that. So
he probably already is. No, it's a good idea, and I think what excites me most about this, like fantasy football. I if I actually won my league after doing it for 10 years, and this was like the first
10
year out of
years.
10 years, and this is only like second time I was in the top 5, out of like 11 teams or something. I'm not as invested into the NFL as I am the PRS, obviously. I would love to just sink my teeth into this and get to know the shooters even better and pick them and watch, like you said, David Benner, right? Like
Yeah. He's gonna surprise some people this year. Like
I love
that
it.
guy, you can tell by talking to him. Like he has the mentality for it. He cares. He's not wondering what his gear is gonna be. He's not changing stuff. Like he's gonna do well.
Awesome. Well, let's leave it at that. I appreciate you guys' time tonight. You guys have any shout outs on the way out of here?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm wearing stuff. That's as much as I'm going with it. I'm still in off season mode.
Sounds good.
yeah,
You're nesting mode.
Yeah,
Josh?
absolutely.
yeah, I got to go finish packing the truck, and we're leaving in the morning. So
Heck yeah. Good luck this weekend, man. Don't
Thank
hit
you.
all
Yeah,
the
good luck.
targets.
that's the plan.
Heck yeah.